Decline is the word that is used for people who overspend their credit card limits, and it happens to the best of us. It happens sometimes when we're not paying attention to exactly what our particular debt is on a given credit card. And so today, what I'm going to talk about on episode 276 is credit card debt and how to overcome it. And I also want to recommend to you here from the beginning, when you check out this episode, also go out there to my YouTube channel, which will help you out as well, where you'll be able to see this in its entirety. So thank you very much for that. So let's get into today's topic. It's a very important topic, primarily because it's something that most people are used to. They're used to being able to get credit cards and get them pretty easily, especially if you're a college student. They tend to give them out like flowing water from a faucet. So what happens is consumers often fall into deep credit card debt due to a combination of several factors, and some are going to be very familiar to you. How about overspending? Lack of financial literacy education. How about unforeseen emergencies where you have to pull out that credit card, especially in a medical situation at the hospital or for an emergency, and you have to go in there with that credit card? That's your only source that you'll be able to use. And then how about high interest rates? And so understanding the reasons behind the accumulation of debt is really the thing to understand. And you can take steps to mitigate if it is crucial for regaining financial stability. So I'll be talking about different ways in which you can be able to overcome credit card debts. Now, this may not apply to you, but it may apply to a member of your family, maybe your children, maybe some extended family, some friends, and even some colleagues, because it happens to most everyone at some point in their life. So how do consumers get into deep credit card debt? Number one is living beyond their means. Now, when I think about this, I think about my grandparents, both my grandmothers. I didn't meet one of my grandfathers. He had passed before I was born. And then my other grandfather, I didn't know him long before he passed. So my grandmothers, they were very thrifty. They knew how to live within their means. And then likewise, for both of my parents, they lived within their means as best they could based on the income that they had. And so they never used credit cards. My grandparents never had credit cards, neither did my parents. And so I'm really a first generation credit card user. Think about that. Back when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth. But take into consideration that many consumers fall into the habit of using credit cards to supplement their lifestyle. In other words, they may not earn as much when they receive their check at the end of a week or 2 weeks. And so they use their credit card to kind of supplement things until they're paid. But this really is part of the problem. There are other means in which we can purchase food or gas for the vehicle or whatever it might be. And so we have to learn how to live within those means. But over time, it leads to a pile of debt, something that none of us deserve or we should not want. And we have to struggle to make the minimum payments, which barely covers the interest, because interest always outpaces your payment because you simply don't make that much. And those people who are making a lot of money, a lot of times they're the ones who are overspending their credit card and get into a lot of credit card debt, because the assumption is, well, I earn a lot of money. I earn 6 or 7 figures, but you're spending at a rate that's much higher than 6 or 7 figures. And therein lies the problem. So we can also consider high interest rates. And we know right now the interest rates are high, especially if you're going to purchase a home or a new vehicle or a student debt loan. Student loans. It gets really over the top crazy. But credit cards typically come in at high interest rates, often between 15 and 25%. So if you can't pay off the balance each month, the rates compound, making it extremely difficult to pay down the principal amount. So one of the things one can do is just live within the means and do not go for the high interest rates on products and our services. And then how about unexpected emergencies? Many consumers on credit cards during emergencies such as medical bills, car repairs, and job loss. And so it throws people into really a barrel, if you will. And oftentimes it's hard to get out of that barrel. But first thing you have to do is just stop spending. You have to slow it down. You have to pace it out. And I'll discuss some of the ways in which to do that pretty soon. And then poor money management. One simply does not have an idea of how to manage their money. They've never seen all of their bills in front of them. Maybe around tax season, people might look at it, but other than that, they're really not looking at it because they're so busy with their lives. And so it would behoove one to make an assessment of putting down and writing down all of their bills, even if it's on a piece of paper. At least it's a starting point. And then you want to look at the debt cycle. If you don't pay bills down, it doesn't seem like you're winning. So you need to pay off a few debts and become that winner that you are, and pay down some of those bills and then go to the next one and pay that down. And then you can just brush your shoulders off and just say, I'm on a roll now. And that's exactly where you deserve to be. So a lot of times when people fall behind because of those higher interest rates, let's say if you have $3,000 worth of debt and each month they're tagging on another $90, well, you're going nowhere fast and you really need to get out of that hole. And the first thing that people say about getting out of hole is that you have to stop digging. And so for your credit card debts, you need to stop using them so that you can get out of that hole, and all of that interest won't just cave in on you because you deserve the very best. So now I'm going to put up my slide so you can see what it looks like. Credit card debt and how to overcome bad use of cards. And that's what I'm talking about right now. I'm going to go back into it, and I'll come back to the slide a little bit later. But one of the things to do, I want you to consider is looking at ways to work your way out of debt, especially specifically pertaining to credit card debts. Well, you have to create a budget and stick to it. Boo, that's what you all are saying. No one likes to talk about a budget except us number of people. When I was in the military, they call us the green eye-shaped types because we have our eyes on every number that's moving, and we're going to make sure that it goes to the right place on the budget that we have. And we had multi-billion-dollar budgets. So I want you to have a personal budget. So you're a green eye shade for your personal budget. And so you want to create a budget and you want to stick to it. You want to write down every bill that you have, subscriptions, whether you're buying a foo-foo coffee from a specific coffee shop, or alcohol or cigarettes, whatever it may be. You want to tamp down on those and get them under control. And to get them under control, guess who's got to get under control? You and I have to get under control. That's right. We have to be in control of our money, because if we don't, it does what? If we don't control money, money controls us. And that's not the position that we should be in. We should always be controlling every penny. Yes, I said every penny with a P, because it just doesn't make sense to just spend every dime that we have. And so we want to look at the debt snowball, a debt avalanche method. And I've talked about that in a previous episode. So the debt snowball, if you pay off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on others, you have a victory. Take that victory, go to the next lowest bill, pay that off. So we're doing a snowball effect. Then the avalanche approach is we pay off those accounts or bills that have the highest interest rate, because you will save more in the long run because you're paying less interest. And that's really the gist of what debt avalanche is all about. It reduces the total interest paid over time. Then you want to negotiate with your creditors. Consumers can all call their credit card corporation to negotiate lower interest rates, or seek out repayment plans. And many companies are willing to work with consumers to avoid default. And so that's a really good method. Then you can look at consolidating debt. So debt consolidation involves taking up a lower interest loan to pay off multiple high interest credit cards. And this simplifies debt management and can reduce the overall interest that's payments that are made. And so now I'm going to take down my slide because I want you to see me more. I want you to see the passion that I have for this. And I have it because I've been through it. I'm only human, people. Don't think that I'm non-human. I'm human. I've made mistakes, but I'm not making them anymore. And I don't want you to make them either. Now, we're getting close to the end. So let me share something about a balance transfer credit cards, where you can actually get credit cards that offer 0% APR, or annual percentage rate, on balance transfers. And that's a really good idea. especially going from 15 to 20%. Then you can seek professional help. Find someone that can help you. And typically it could be in the local bank, and they will help you set up a budget and a plan for no fee because it's part of your particular bank account. And you want to get in there and talk to them. And maybe at a later time, you'll talk to them more about investing in stocks and other instruments as well. And then consider debt settlement. Or sometimes things are so bad you have to go through bankruptcy. And there's no shame in bankruptcy. I think the main thing is that one really identifies the mistake they made, and a bankruptcy gives people, especially corporations, the opportunity to have a second chance. And so that's not a bad thing, but I don't want to see you in that position. And then I'm going to provide a few real life example. There was a financial advisor. I'm not going to call his name because I don't want to infringe anyone. He shared a story about a couple who were $100,000 in credit card debt. So they followed the debt snowball method. They paid off the smallest balances, as stated before, and started working their way until they finally paid everything off in about, I don't know, 3 years. Yeah, well, actually 5 years to pay off that 100,000. But they have avoided falling back into debt by switching to a cash-based budgeting system. And that's another good option to have, because when you're spending just cash, you know that you're limited to a certain amount for what you're doing. And again, don't try to impress other people. People get fancy foreign import vehicles, nice houses and gated communities. Rich people don't live there. In the book that I read, your neighbors next door, they stated that rich people don't live in gated communities, and rich people don't have flashy cars. They get the car repaired until you can't drive it anymore. So if they can do it, so can we. And then there's the 50-30-20 budget plan, and it's a personal. It's written by a person who has experience of paying $20,000 off in credit card debt with her husband by adopting this rule, and they would allocate 50% of their income to needs such as rent or their housing, groceries, 30% for their wants, and then 20% for debt repayment and or saving. And so that's a good idea. So that's the 50-30-20 plan. And then you want to do your best to get personal loan. If you have to get one, get it at a lower interest rate. And these things really, really help out making a difference. And the way to stay out of debt is to, one way is to do is automate your payments. So automatic payments ensure that consumers avoid missing due dates, which can cost you a penalty for late fees, and it leads to additional fees and increased debt. Emergency fund, having that, build an emergency fund prevents future reliance on credit cards for unforeseen expenses, and then limit credit card use. Okay, let's put that constraint on. So you want to avoid using credit cards for non-essential purchases. Only change what can be paid off in full at the end of each month. And then track your spending. Here we go again. There's some apps out there, and I know Mint has one, and I don't endorse Mint. I'm not a part of them, but I'm just giving you one that you can use. But it has financial tracking tools to help consumers maintain a clear picture of their finances, ensure that they don't overspend. But by combining structured repayment plans, lifestyle changes, and financial discipline, consumers can not only work their way out of credit card debt, but stay out of it, securing a more stable financial future. And I hope that I have provided you with some information today that will make a difference, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a difference for you, and some of these things can help. If you're listening to this on the MP3, I recommend that you go to the Wealth Academy podcast, a YouTube channel, and look up videos, and you'll be able to see episode 276 there. And it states credit card debt and how to overcome it. So my time is up, and I thank you for yours. Again, my name is Paul Lawrence Van. It's been an honor to be with you today. I'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to rate and review this episode and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and have a great day.